Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what makes all of this into one is Islam. Islam is that religion that brings all of these things together. And he was a Catholic. And at the end, before we were leaving, I said, I know you're following your religion. He said that I'm following my religion because I have my parents who are born Catholic and they follow Catholicism. And I was like, you know what? If you're old enough, you should do your own research and look into Islam. Look into Islam. And I gave one word to describe our religion, that was peace. The messenger of peace. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam chosen for this message for 23 years. And he's leaving afterwards. Imagine the emotions that his companions are going through. On Thursday night, he became sick. It was about 17 prayers Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu led in the presence, in the hayat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Imagine a Sunday night, because he's been in his room on the left side of Masjid Nabawi, and all the Sahaba are praying. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is leading, and all the senior companions are right behind him, and all the junior companions are right behind him. Abdullah bin Abbas, Abdullah bin Umar, Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhum. All these companions are right behind these senior companions, and they're all praying behind Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu without any shikwa, without any complaint, without any objection. And they hear, as they're praying, I want you to imagine the khushu' and khudu, first of all. Their humility and submissiveness in the prayer. They're fully devoted in the prayer. It's not like us, or like myself. I'm praying and I hear one kid running from one side, you know, and we get distracted. And we have our phones ringing. Oh, who's calling? He's probably getting better and he's healing from his recovery, from the poison that was found in the food. And they looked at the Prophet of Allah from the side of their eye, this part. And they see Rasulullah staring at them, looking at them and smiling. As Ibn Hibban mentions. It's mentioned in Hayatul Sahih. They're so sure that next day Rasulullah will be out and leading us in the prayer. What happens? The demise of Rasulullah happens. Now all the scholars, they talk about, why did Rasulullah at that moment smile? He could have cried. He could have made dua. He could have said something else. But what was the point of smiling? I want you to imagine from a lens of a parent. As a young child, when a child finishes the hifz, forget about the hifz part. I'll give the example. When we were kids, doing hifz in Madrasa Islamiyya in Southside, when the sheikh over there, Qari Hashim or Hafiz Iqbal, would call us up on the stage to recite some Quran, and they would mention our father's name. My father's name is Israr. They would mention his name, and father would literally smile that this is my son. That's my boy. Imagine your parents the same way. They get happy when you are put on the stage and this platform where you're speaking or doing something, or giving an award. They get happy. Imagine Rasulullah smiling just that way because he was their mentor for 23 years and he was leaving them behind. And the scholar said the reason why he was smiling is that he was so sure that his companions after his demise would carry on the work the way he taught them. And that's what every single person did. And what's crazy is that the student, he's a U of H student by the way, he asked a question. Does Islam play a role in terms of the norm and stuff? And I said to him, I'm not a person from Middle East. My background is Pakistan. My parents came from Pakistan. I told him, Arab is here. Saudi Arabia is over here. Saudi is here. I'm not over there. I'm down there eating biryanis and stuff. I told him. But I said, look at the impact. Islam came all the way around. Indonesia, Malaysia, all these places where Muslims are there. Who did the work? Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. But through whose mentorship? Even after the demise, it was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was impact of this one teacher which left them fully motivated to carry out this work till the end of their lives. Because the biggest priority they had in this world was Islam comes first and everything else comes secondary. Because we are as proud Muslims. Yesterday when everybody was celebrating whatever they were celebrating, us brothers, us Muslims, we were either at the masjid or at the house. We had the same fun fest. We had a Surah Al-Duha tafsir of our Shaykh, Mufti Abdul Rahman. You guys are leaving because Dhuhr Salah, Asr Salah, we have no more. People carried and the iman that we are supposed to embody in our lives. There was a king, Rasulullah ﷺ one day was sitting amongst the companions and he said, كَانَ فِي مَنْ قَبْلَكُمْ مَلِكٌ. There was a king before you, and that king was from Yemen. وَكَانَ عِنْدَهُ سَاحِرٌ. And that king had a magician. إِذَا كَبُرَتْ سِنُّهُ وَنَقُصَ أَجَلُهُ. When he was getting old, and when he knows he was about to pass away, he went to the king. He said, Ya Malik, I need a mentee. I have to teach my skills and my experiences to somebody else. Because I'm about to pass away and I'm really close to you, but you will not have someone like me and once I passed away because I'm getting old. And the king said, who do you want? He said, I want a ghulam. Those who speaks Arabic, they understand. Ghulam is a young boy, the young teenager. The magician could have asked for an old man or a young grown-up man. But ghulam was asked because it is the young people who make the difference. Believe me or not. I don't have to make it very known. I'm not speaking to Muslims, I'm speaking at U of H. What was happening with our brothers and sisters what's been happening with our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Allahumma ansurhum nasr mu'azzara. Whatever is happening with our brothers and sisters in Palestine, it is these students. It is our dear brothers, you guys, standing up, doing the protests, doing all of these sort of things that are bringing these regimes into jeopardy, making them shake. You guys are standing up. The king asked the magician, who do you want? And he said, I want a young boy. And he got the young boy. And to put it forward, the young boy's house was over here, on the left side. On the right side of it was the king's palace. And right after that was a place of worship, or you can say a madrasa, an Islamic school of a person, rahib, rabbi, of Muslim of that time. And then after that was the house of the magician. So the magician has told the young boy, I want you to come to me every day at this certain time, and I'm going to teach you magic so you can be trained. And this will be a means of bringing earnings for your family as well. And the family was like, take him. We don't want him, just take him. As long as he's bringing earnings for our family, alhamdulillah, we're okay. This young boy would pass by the king's palace, this madrasa, this institute, and they would go to the house of the magician. And he would always see that this madrasa, I'm using the word madrasa because to indicate towards a place of place of worship and place of where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is discussed and the mudhakara is done, is mentioned. And he would see people entering this place, but he never knew what was happening inside the place. He went to the magician's house, came back home, went back, came back home, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, back and forth, back and forth. And then one day he's like, I have to go and see what's happening there. Before he went to the magician's place, he went inside the madrasa and he saw a sheikh of that time teaching the people about the deen. I put in the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the importance of Allah and the religion. And the hadith says, فَأَعْجَبَهُ بِكَلَامِهِ. He made him mesmerized by his speech, by his ways of speech. He didn't become mesmerized because of the place. It wasn't the most amazing place to be in. It was the words of the person who was speaking to the crowd. And the kids continued to sit, the young boy continued to sit until he passed the time of the magician. And he went to him afterwards. And when he got there, the magician got so mad at him, saying, why are you late? Huh? ماذا تأخرت? Why did you get late? And he gave him a one slap. فَضَرَبَهُ وَلَطَمَهُ. He smacked him. He said, if you ever come late again, I'm going to smack you. And he went back home. Again, he was late because he got to the place, to the school late. And he was dismissed late. He went to his house. Again, he was beaten. فَضَرَبَهُ أَهْلُهُ وَلَطَمَهُ. They smacked him. He said, if you ever come late, you'll be in trouble. The kid is absolutely confused. The next day he comes, he goes to his teacher, this other teacher. I put in the way, bad teacher, good teacher. Good teacher, the scholar, the magician, a bad teacher. He goes to his good teacher. He says, Sheikh, I love your gatherings. I really love it. But the problem is that if I ever go late in the both places, I get beat. What should I do? The Sheikh says, when you go late, when you go late to the magician's place, tell them your parents had some work for you at the house and you were doing that. And when you go late to your family, then tell them that your teacher had some extra work for you and that's why you got late. And the student loved this good teacher. The next day, and this is a true hadith, it's a hadith mentioned in Muslim. The boy left from his house and he saw people standing up. فَإِذَا هِيَ دَابَّةٌ عَظِيمَةٌ. And there was a big fish, big animal on the pathway, blocking it. He said, اليوم أعلم الساحر خير أم الراهب. Today is the day I will find out if the magician is better or that teacher, the scholar is better. And he picked at that one small pebble and he aimed at the animal. And he said, Oh Allah, Oh Lord, if the teacher, the good teacher, if that scholar is speaking and he's the better version, remove this dabba, this big animal from the road. And he took that pebble and he hit it. And that whole animal, as the hadith goes, was removed from the way and he was able to walk freely and everybody was able to walk. The next day he made a decision that he's no longer going to go to the magician. He's going to stay with his scholar, with his good teacher. And he went to the rabbi and he said, today I'm going to stay with you from now on. The rabbi told him, إِنَّكَ خَيْرٌ مِنِّي. You are better than me. You're way better than me. He's telling a young boy that you're way better than me. I'm nowhere compared to you. Whereas he's the one who taught him everything. And Allah gave him such ability that he was able to cure natural diseases. If somebody was blind, he was able to bring the eyes back, the sight back. If somebody had leprosy, he was able to bring it back. Only because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would always see this. Now there was a courtier, to make the story short, there was a courtier, a person who was to be part of the members of the king. He was blind. He was looking for somebody to cure his disease, this natural disease, his blindness. And he was told there's a young boy. If you go to him, he might be able to cure you. Right away, this A'ma went to this young boy. And he said, oh boy, cure me. You know what he said? La ashfika. I don't cure you. I don't cure you. It's Allah who cures you. It's Allah who cures, not me. I don't cure anybody. And he said, go ahead and cure me through the permission of your Lord. And by Allah, his eyesight was brought back to life. He was able to see again. At that moment, he took the Shahada. And he was part of the members, the courtiers of the king. The next day, the king saw him. He said, how do you have eyes? How are you able to see? Weren't you blind? And he said, Allah brought it back. Allah brought it back. That moment, the king beat him up so much. And he asked him, who told you? Man qala laka ha? Man qala laka hadha? Man qala laka hadha? Who taught you this? Who told you this? Then he pointed at the boy. And the boy was told from before, from his teacher, oh young boy, when you're able to cure others through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make sure you don't take my name. Make sure you don't take my name, because I don't want to be put in these situations. And the young boy is brought, and he's beaten up. He's asked, investigated, tell me, who taught you this? Who taught you this? Because you were just that one boy who was sent to the magician to learn magic, and today you are curing people's eyesight and diseases. Who taught you all of this? He was beaten up so much, hatta akhbara, until he informed. He said, you know what? I can't take this anymore. And the rabbi, the rahib, the scholar was brought, and the scholar was beaten up. And the king started off from him. So you're the scholar. You tell me, do you forsake your religion? At that time, Islam was called this. Do you forsake your religion of oneness of Allah? The rabbi goes, the scholar goes, I will never do that. And the king placed a saw right in between his head, over here, his crown. And he said, do you forsake your religion? He said, no. And he was cut into 2 pieces, right in front of everybody. Then came the man who was blind, who was very close to the king. The saw was placed on his head. Do you forsake your religion? He says, no. He was cut into 2 pieces. Both of them died the death of Shaheed. Came the 3rd person, the young boy. The king said, I will not punish you this easily. He commanded his people to take him on the top of the mountain and throw him from there. And they took him upstairs on the mountain, the peak of the mountain. The only thing he said, Allahumma kfinihi bima shit. Oh Allah, take care of them the way you want to take care, the way you think is befitting. But Allah, they all fell from the peak of the mountain except this young boy. And he walked into the palace of the king. He said, here I am. And the king said, take him into the middle of the ocean, because this boy is something else. And they took him into the middle of the ocean to drown him. And the only thing he said was what? Allahumma kfinihim bima shi'ta. Oh Allah, take care of these wretched people the way you want to take care of them. And they all drowned besides this young boy. And he came into the palace of the king and he said, do whatever you want to. The king was holding his head, saying, what should I do now? And the boy told him this method. Say, oh king, if you want to kill me, use this method. By Allah, you will kill me. The young boy said, tie me up in front of all the people and gather every single one on the land where they can see me. And tell your archer that when he shoots, he says, Bismillahi Rabbi hadha al-ghulam. That, oh, I throw this arrow at this young boy with the name of the Lord of this boy. And the king did as he told him. He was tied up. Everybody was watching him. And the archer was told, aim at him and read Bismillahi Rabbi hadha al-ghulam out loud so everybody could hear. You know where this is going to. And he shot the arrow at him. The arrow went over here, as the hadith says, Sudghun, right over here. Over here. Called this a temple. He was hit over here and he passed away, putting his head over here. Putting his hand over here. Every single buddy who was witnessing that, they said, if this boy can only be killed by saying, Rabbi hadha al-ghulam, What are we waiting for? They all accepted Islam at that moment. The king was holding his hand again. He said, what just happened? I wanted him to die so that nobody would believe in Allah. But now everybody believes. And now he commanded that dig a trench and lit it up with fire. And called every single person of this village, of this community, and make them stand next to it. And if they don't forsake the religion, throw him inside the trench. By Allah, every single person came. And this is a religion that you and I have been given. I say to myself first, as a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we started off, Alhamdulillah, ala ni'mat al-Islam wa kafa bihi ni'mah. Every single by Allah was thrown besides this. Every single person, hatta until a woman came and she was holding her baby. And she hesitated, hatta taruta. The young baby told the mother, what are you waiting for, mom? Jannah lies right in front of us. She jumped in with the baby and everybody passed away. And this was a verse. This was the incident that the Quran talks about. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ. May the people who dug the trenches, be cursed. Talking about our brothers and sisters who gave their lives for this deen. Our brothers and sisters in Palestine are doing the same thing. And what happened to Sha'ban and his sister and all the other brothers who went there for what? For IV? And what happened to them? We witnessed a live death in front of our eyes of our brother in Islam. Just because, dear brothers and sisters, for this one faith that you and I have been given from our birth. What is Islam? The value of ours come only through this faith and nothing else. Memorize this, because this is what will give us salvation in this world and hereafter. وهذا وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلق محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب العزيز أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد بعدد من صلى وصام وصل على سيدنا محمد بعدد من قعد وقام اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر أهل فلسطين نصرا مؤزرا اللهم كن عونا معهم اللهم اخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم ولا معهم اللهم ثبتنا على الإسلام اللهم ثبتنا على الإسلام اللهم ثبتنا وأطفالنا على الإسلام عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون أقيموا صفوفكم. إن شاء الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Shall please straighten the lines, leave no gaps. Stand shoulder to shoulders. استووا واعتدلوا وسدوا القلب. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Just last reminder again, inshallah. So on November 16th, inshallah, in our school, Hamd Institute, we'll be having Imam Bukhari's class, inshallah, where you'll go over his entire life, inshallah, by Mufti Muntasir, who's from Qalim Institute, inshallah. So please do try to attend. It's a beneficial class, inshallah. I'll be there, inshallah. If anybody who can come, inshallah, please come, inshallah. You will really enjoy it. Jazakumullah khairan wa ahsan jazaa.